What you are seeing now is one of the most well-known states in the United States, Hawaii. It is the only U.S. state that is not located in North America. Millions of people travel to this archipelago every year. It is not only a dream destination for many people, but also one of the most popular honeymoon destinations in North America. However, the population distribution of the Hawaiian Islands is quite unique. 91% of the area is uninhabited. Among them, the Big Island accounts for 63% of the total land area. Logically, most of the population should be concentrated there. However, the reality is quite the opposite. Most residents live on the third largest island, Oahu. According to the 2020 census, the total population of Hawaii is about 1.44 million. Surprisingly, 70% of the population is concentrated on Oahu. While this island accounts for only 9% of Hawaii's total land area, this means Oahu has over 1 million residents, while the other islands have far fewer people. Although the Big Island is nearly 7 times larger than Oahu, its population is only about 200,000. Today, it is considered a sparsely populated rural area. Meanwhile, Oahu's population density is 34 times that of the Big Island. Other islands have even smaller populations. The second largest island, Maui, has about 164,000 people. Kauai has around 73,000. As for Molokai and Lanai, these smaller islands have even fewer residents, with only about 7,000 and 3,000 people respectively. From this, it is clear that the population concentration on Oahu is one of the most notable features in Hawaii's demographics. It has now become the core population center of the Hawaiian Islands, carrying 70% of the state's population. However, this population concentration is a relatively recent phenomenon. From a historical perspective, the Big Island used to be the main population center of the archipelago. To understand today's population distribution, we must first understand the geological history. The Hawaiian Islands are relatively young, formed by volcanic activity about 85 million years ago. At that time, mantle material broke through the Earth's crust and reached the floor of the Pacific Ocean. This volcanic activity continues to this day. Magma rises and cools into rock, gradually forming volcanoes. Meanwhile, the Pacific Plate moves northwestward at a rate of about 8 centimeters per year. This movement causes new volcanoes to keep forming, while older ones move away from the volcanic hotspot and gradually become inactive, eventually eroding and sinking back into the ocean. Seafloor maps of the Pacific Ocean and scanning data record this long geological history. Over the past 85 million years, the underwater mountain chain formed by volcanic activity has extended all the way near Russia. Among them, Niihau, Kauai, Oahu, and other older islands are located farthest from the current geological hotspot near the Big Island. Meanwhile, Maui, Molokai, and Lanai, which are relatively younger islands, were formed about 1.2 million years ago. They were originally one complete island, and later gradually split apart. The present-day Big Island of Hawaii is the youngest island in the entire archipelago. It only emerged above sea level about 600,000 years ago, and is therefore the most geologically active island. Ongoing volcanic activity continues to expand the Big Island, while other islands far from the hotspot are constantly eroding and breaking apart. It is precisely this geological history that has shaped the unique geographic features and population distribution of the Hawaiian Islands today. It is estimated that within the next 100,000 years, about 35 kilometers southeast of the Big Island, a new island will be formed. This means that the birth of the Hawaiian Islands, their existence, and eventual disappearance in a cycle of millions of years will continue. due to its unique formation process and its location deep in the vast Pacific Ocean. The Hawaiian Islands remained outside the awareness of human civilization for a long time. At present, there is still no definitive evidence indicating when humans first discovered Hawaii. However, archaeological evidence suggests that during large-scale Pacific explorations by Polynesians, they may have discovered these islands around 900 AD. It is worth noting that, before 900 AD, Hawaii had no human inhabitants at all. By that time, the Roman Empire had already fallen. Christianity had already emerged. Charlemagne had been crowned. The Vikings had become active. And the global population was estimated to have reached 50 million. Some cities had even exceeded 1 million people. Yet Hawaii remained an uninhabited land. After Polynesians discovered Hawaii, the population of the islands gradually increased, reaching about 300,000 at its peak. Throughout history, native Hawaiians had occasional contact with the outside world. But sustained interaction, in the true sense, did not truly begin until 1778. At that time, during the American Revolutionary War, the British navigator Captain Cook discovered the Hawaiian Islands and made their existence known to the world. From then on, the Hawaiian Islands began to undergo rapid and profound changes. At that time, Hawaii had a population of 300,000 scattered across the islands. And before the arrival of Europeans, these islands had never been unified under a single political authority. Each island had different chiefs and factions, functioning like independent small kingdoms. But the arrival of Captain Cook completely changed this situation. In 1780, just 2 years after Cook's discovery of Hawaii, the chief of the Big Island, Kamehameha, began acquiring advanced weapons from Westerners, such as British cannons and firearms. With these new weapons, and the help of military advisors, Kamehameha first unified the entire Big Island, and then launched military campaigns to conquer the rest of the archipelago. In 1795, he successfully conquered Maui, Kauai, Lanai, Molokai, and Oahu, and unified these territories, officially establishing the Kingdom of Hawaii. He named the entire archipelago after his home island, Hawaii. In 1810, the chiefs of Niihau and Kauai pledged allegiance to Kamehameha. For the first time in history, the Hawaiian Islands were unified under one political authority, ruled by King Kamehameha. However, the unified Kingdom of Hawaii soon faced a crisis. The unification wars caused heavy casualties. But more seriously, the arrival of Westerners brought foreign diseases, to which the natives had no immunity, such as smallpox, influenza, yellow fever, measles, and even the deadly plague. These diseases dealt a devastating blow to Hawaii's population, with effects similar to those experienced by Native Americans after European contact. Alcohol was introduced to Hawaii, even though the natives had never encountered such drinks before. At the same time, after Cook's arrival, natives began to have opportunities to live overseas, further accelerating population loss. Population decline led to labor shortages, seriously hindering Hawaii's economic development. Combined with its remote geographic location, which already made export costs extremely high, worsening the economic situation. From Captain Cook's arrival in 1778 to 1853, in just 75 years, Hawaii's population dropped from 300,000 to only 71,000. Located in the center of the Pacific Ocean, Hawaii holds significant strategic importance and became a target for major powers. Britain, France, the United States, Germany, and Japan all sought to control the islands, using them as refueling stations and strategic military bases to control sea routes between America and East Asia. Hawaii's early rulers understood this geopolitical value and adopted an open policy, actively inviting Westerners to come. Soon, merchants, entrepreneurs, and missionaries poured in. The missionaries aimed to convert the natives to Christianity, while merchants and entrepreneurs recognized Hawaii's economic potential. They found that Hawaii's tropical climate was ideal for growing sugarcane and established large sugar plantations. Across the islands, some entrepreneurs even became the largest landowners in Hawaii. This openness brought economic vitality, but also expanded foreign influence, ushering in a new era of economic and social transformation. In 1864, Elizabeth Sinclair purchased Niihau for $10,000. The island later became part of the Hawaiian archipelago. Hawaii lies thousands of kilometers from North America, making export costs extremely high. When the treaty with the United States was up for renewal, the U.S. government explicitly demanded that Hawaii cede Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor is located on Oahu and is one of the most strategically valuable natural harbors in the world. It has sufficient depth and excellent natural protection, making it ideal for docking warships and submarines. Combined with its central position in the North Pacific, it is a key node for controlling sea routes between North America and East Asia. Controlling Pearl Harbor means controlling Pacific trade and shipping lifelines. The United States was naturally unwilling to give up this strategic location. Initially, the Hawaiian government refused to cede Pearl Harbor. In 1875, Hawaii and the United States signed a reciprocity treaty. Hawaii did not have to give up any land, which directly led to economic prosperity in Hawaii's sugar industry. Sugar exports increased 13-fold. By 1890, exports had surged by 722%. However, in the 1880s, the treaty expired, and U.S. pressure on Hawaii to cede Pearl Harbor intensified again. At the same time, U.S. influence in Hawaii's sugar plantations kept growing, combined with continued reliance on Asian labor, making Hawaii's political situation increasingly tense. What worried the U.S. government even more was Hawaii's growing closeness to Japan. At the time, Japan was rising, posing a potential threat to U.S. interests in the Pacific. In 1887, under economic pressure from the United States, the Hawaiian government eventually handed over Pearl Harbor to the U.S., marking a new phase in Hawaii's history. At that time, more than 60% of Hawaii's population was Asian, while the landowning class launched a coup in the same year, forcing the king to promulgate a new constitution. This constitution weakened the king's power and stripped ordinary people of their rights, requiring land ownership as a condition for voting. This directly caused many Hawaiians to lose their voting rights. In 1891, the king died, and his sister, Queen Liliuokalani, ascended the throne. The queen made it clear that she would overturn previous reforms, restore monarchical authority, and return voting rights, especially to landless natives. This stance angered the landowning class. In 1893, with direct support from U.S. armed forces, they launched a second coup. During the coup, hundreds of U.S. Marines landed on Oahu, threatening the Queen and her royal guards to prevent resistance. In the end, the Queen was placed under house arrest. Hundreds of native Hawaiians were also arrested, many of whom were sentenced to death for treason. The Hawaiian monarchy was abolished, and the Republic of Hawaii was established. After that, Hawaii began to directly serve U.S. interests. This situation continued until 1897. In that year, William McKinley was elected U.S. president, and the Spanish-American War broke out. After defeating Spain, the United States seized several colonies in the Caribbean and the Pacific. By 1898, the United States had built a vast colonial empire in the Western Pacific, and Pearl Harbor became essential for controlling these new territories. It was the only suitable military harbor at the time, with critical strategic importance. In addition, U.S. concerns about Japan were growing. McKinley believed that annexing Hawaii was inevitable, as it would secure U.S. dominance in the Pacific and ensure full control of Pearl Harbor. However, it should be noted that this annexation did not receive the consent of native Hawaiians and is therefore legally controversial. This controversy has sparked countless debates until 1959, when Hawaii officially became a U.S. state. The situation was somewhat eased. It is worth mentioning that the United Nations once listed Hawaii as a non-self-governing territory, considering it eligible for decolonization. A century later, although the United States issued an apology, it was largely symbolic, with no substantial action taken. After annexation, however, the United States quickly began integrating Hawaii. Sanford Dole was appointed as Hawaii's first governor. Numerous companies were established there, and Hawaii's economy gradually prospered. As tensions between the United States and Japan escalated, especially with Japan's expanding ambitions becoming increasingly evident, the United States grew more concerned about conflict in the Pacific. In 1940, the United States deployed a fleet to Pearl Harbor to counter potential threats from Japan. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a large-scale surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. This event directly led to the United States officially entering World War II. During the war, Hawaii became a major U.S. military base. Several islands were converted into military training grounds and remained uninhabitable until the 1990s. After the war, Hawaii remained central to U.S. geopolitical interests. Today, tourism has become the backbone of Hawaii's economy, driving local economic development. However, for native Hawaiians, modern life comes with high living costs. High housing prices and living expenses have forced many natives to leave the islands, seeking more affordable living elsewhere. At present, Hawaii also faces challenges in economic sustainability. Although tourism brings economic benefits, it also drives up housing prices and living costs. Today's Hawaiian culture is a blend of Asian, European, and American influences, and is renowned for its diversity. In addition, Hawaii has one of the highest living costs in the United States. Whether it is housing, rent, cars, or basic food, prices rank among the highest in the country, making it one of the most expensive states to live in.